Maria, thank you for joining us today on Hustle and Heart. And as all of you know that watch this, we do this one time a month where we highlight a special person, a special agent, someone that's more than just a real estate professional, somebody that lives their life a certain way, someone that's had an incredible journey through real estate, both personally and professionally, and what we can learn from them. And as I've got a short list together already, this one I'm really excited about. Maria Martin is with us today from Las Vegas, Nevada. Maria, welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm
You're
honored.
welcome.
I'm
You're
honored to be
welcome.
here.
Well, and let me just say, for those of you who don't know Maria, I'm excited for you to watch this. You're going to get to know a very special person, someone that's been in this organization for a number of years. I would say a legacy agent inside this organization, and really has helped shaped who we become at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Nevada, Arizona, and California properties. So let's dive right in with Maria. Maria, Hustle and Heart. It is there couldn't be a better title when it comes to you and this business. Um, and
Thank
I
you.
want to start by saying happy belated birthday yesterday. By the way, as we're
Thank
filming
you.
this,
Thank
you,
you. Yep.
you
It
bet.
was a
It,
pretty exciting day.
I'm sure. I'm sure it was a big soccer game. We're filming this on July 20th. Maria's birthday was July 19th. And we were just talking about her Argentinians didn't quite make the cut yesterday. So I'm sorry about
Yeah.
that, but it was a great
Yeah.
game nonetheless. So
Yeah. Yeah. It really was. It was very exciting. And my husband is very happy that I've become a sports fan of some sort. But yeah,
I'm
soccer
sure.
was very exciting for me. So I've really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. Yeah.
it was fun. It was really kind of
Yeah,
fun seeing the U.S. in a completely different light for a little while with soccer matches going on everywhere, and to your
for
point,
sure.
other people who haven't been involved in sports taking a liking and an interest in sports too. It was kind of fun to see.
Yeah, and it was very exciting. I mean, I always look at what's beyond the moment, and the message to me was also showing up as United States in the best way possible. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just something really exciting for the world to see us in a really positive way, and welcoming and giving everybody such joy and really, fantastic moments. So that was really exciting. And then there was a lesson for me in general about Argentina, because that is my where I was born, and so my story, begins there, and it was really exciting to see the lessons of resilience, camaraderie with that team, which is so important to me to be working, as to be working together as a team and to help each other become better and to support each other. So I found a lot of really good life lessons with this particular World Cup. So
That's cool.
yeah.
I couldn't agree more. We were living just off the strip for the last short while we've been going through a little bit of a remodel on the house, and just walking down and around the strip, which we never do living here. It was interesting how many international people were here, and Vegas is an international city regardless, but not to this level, and how many watch parties were set up, and how many
And people wearing their jerseys.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was really cool to see. It was really cool to see. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, let's learn a little bit more about you, Maria. So first, tell me, who are you outside of real estate? You start diving into that a little bit, but who are you, and how does that person show up to grow your business?
Well, I would say that, I was a daughter. My parents are both deceased. Um, that's a big journey of mine. I'm a wife and a mother, and those are probably the biggest parts of my life that have created me of who I am today. I'm incredibly grateful for the parents that I had. Very blessed. We immigrated to this country when I was 5 years old, and my parents, back in the 60s, you could actually get a green card right from the American embassy in your country. So my dad needed $1,000 per person in his pocket, and a little bit of English, and you had to pass an exam, and they did. And so we landed in LA, and they were very resilient and strong, work ethic, and also really strong family ties. We never, we, even though like they didn't take the UHF station on TV so they could learn English right away. um, but then at home, we really kept our culture. We had a lot of friends from Argentina. And so I was raised with a lot of uh, warmth and family unit. So I never lost my culture. Um, and then, being married to Jim now for almost 41 years, this coming October, um, and having, two amazing sons that both really sort of are in marginalized communities. Um, and all of those factors have made me who I am today. And I really think it shows up in anything that I do or anybody would do, but in how we get to do this work of serving people. I think that it has allowed me to be more aware of making sure that my clients feel seen, that they are heard, that they're accepted, that they don't feel that I'm in it only for the transaction, that I'm in it to, create a relationship and be there for them, even if it means that there's really nothing in it for me at the moment. And those are all qualities that I got being raised by my parents. I'm an only child. So we had a very, very tight unit, like your daughter, Troy, right? Um,
Sure.
you become like this really tight unit. And then, being married to an incredible guy and having these two sons that have just made me better, stronger, more resilient, learning to be an advocate for them, and I can be an advocate for my clients.
Yeah.
So I just think it's planting the seeds to nurture myself into just being better and to serve others, whether it be through my church community, whether it be through my work family, which I really feel I have. So
So there was two things you brought up. One, I heard you say it twice, was resilience, and um, I can imagine the amount of resilience you'd have to have coming to a new country, not speaking a lot of English, and I can imagine the '60s. The country wasn't probably quite as inviting back then either, and there was probably a lot of challenges that you went through, and it really has shaped who you are. And the other piece you brought up a number of times is serving others, doing it for the right reasons, and that's something I feel we can't stress enough in our industry. The industry has been, in my humble opinion, has been tainted the wrong way for many years. It is about serving others, and the beauty with that is by serving others, you actually get to earn a living from that. It's not the other way around.
yeah,
And
exactly.
you resemble that. It's clear that you are always working in that way. Whether even in our office, sitting in our bullpen, you're helping others. That is just inherent inside you. You have that mothering ability. Probably raising two sons, has helped you with that as well. But what a cool journey! And I didn't know you guys had immigrated when you were 5. That's really cool.
Yeah, and back
So
then I remember, to be honest, we moved to LA, and soon after we were living in LA, the Watts riots broke out. And it was just it was turbulent times. And I remember my mom like, where are we? And, is my daughter safe? And all of that. So you have to have faith. You have to have,
yeah,
resilience and belief that you're going to get through it, and that together it's sort of what we say, right? We're stronger
yeah,
together.
yeah. I love that. And being smart about what you do. As a dad, we talk about that all the time. It's like, look, just make better decisions. Don't, if you have a decision to make and there's something in there that says I wonder if I should do that. No, the answer is no, you shouldn't do that.
Right.
you know,
You just got to listen to your inner voice because sometimes it's all right there.
right,
And I even
right.
tell that to my clients because they're like wondering, should I not? Should I move? Should I sell? Should I buy? And we can go through all of the things, interest
Hmm.
rates and the pros and cons of buying or selling or this or that. But at the end of the hour, it has to feel like it's right. And being a good listener for them and serving with from a place of, you know, honesty and maybe a little bit of vulnerability,
Hmm.
um, then they feel that they're supported
Hmm.
by me.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So why did you choose real estate? I mean, you could have chosen anything, and you picked real estate. What drove you to that?
Well, I started off in HR. I worked for McDonnell Douglas for 15 years in HR, and I did employee and labor relations, which was, and we had 5,000 employees and three unions. So it was a really tough job, but I, had just graduated from UCLA with a degree in, psychology, and I loved, handling problems, being a problem solver, and just listening to employees, concerns and how we could reach management and make resolutions and do all of that. So when I moved here to Las Vegas with my husband, because my husband's a builder and Vegas in the early 90s was just booming, um, I had a job with the MGM working in HR because I was doing arbitration hearings and I knew people that knew Bill Sears, who was the president, or I don't even know, he was the head of HR. And they offered me a job to work with a beeper 24/7. And, my older son was 3 at the time, and I didn't really know anybody in Vegas. And I felt like, it just doesn't feel right. And I think I could find my next my next career. And so I joined American Nevada Corporation, which was the development company that built Green Valley Ranch, big communities in Henderson, and we were opening up Seven Hills when Seven Hills was nothing but an information center and a topo map, and we had to do tours of all of this new community when there was nothing there. In fact, Eastern was just a dirt road to get there. So people were like, where am I? And so I just enjoyed serving the community in a different way. Rather than resolving problems with employees and management, I was able to just do a presentation to potential investors that were buying land or buyers wanting to move. So I kind of got the bug, and of course my husband being a builder, we I already knew a lot about homes, and I loved Vegas at that time. There was just, I think there was 32 cranes on the strip at one time, and there was so much development going on. It was before city center, before a lot of things, and
Mhm.
so there was just always something new happening, and it just gave me a real sense of excitement to learn about what was going on in Vegas. So I started getting the idea, and then we adopted Michael when he was 9 days old, and then Stefan was 6. And so I really felt like I needed something that gave me flexibility with my schedule. And so that's pretty much why I got in it. It was sort of like that perfect storm, with my background in like negotiations. I just felt like everything was sort of coming together that I should do this. And so I really enjoyed it so much from the get-go. It took me a little while to own the idea of being about a salesperson because that really wasn't what I felt my calling was. Um, but I've learned to wrap my arms around being a really good salesperson means to be a really good communicator, a really good listener, and then to execute, what the person really wants.
Mhm.
Um, so after 27 years, Troy, I started in April of 1999.
Wow.
And, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm so blessed that I did what I did back then because I feel like it's been the very best career possible.
That's amazing. That's what a great journey. And there's so many
Mhm.
points in there. But by the way, those of you who don't know what a beeper is, it's actually called a pager, and it used to go off and vibrate or beep at you, and then they would give a phone number that you'd have to call, or there would be a little message on there of somebody you'd have to call, and you got to go find a payphone because that was before cell phones. Anyway, it's not to get off topic, but what a really interesting journey. And it's funny, Maria. So some similarities you and I have. I never wanted to be in sales either. I grew up and my dad was a traveling salesperson, and I didn't like that aura. I didn't like what that felt like or looked like or anything else. And I just said I'm never getting into sales. And when gosh, boy, newly on, I was going to college and I started a landscape company, and I found out I'm selling
Oh,
jobs to people. I'm selling myself, and pretty soon I realized whatever you do in life, you're in sales.
hmm,
And sales
yes.
isn't sales today like it used to be back then. Sales today is relationship building. And
Hmm.
and you hit the nail on the head. You said something, and I hope people caught this, was it's communicating effectively.
Hmm.
Because when you're communicating effectively by the response that you receive, and that's how you know you're communicating effectively. That's something you do really, really well. So it really, sales isn't really sales anymore. It's bettering someone's life, but through enhancing your relationship is really what it comes down to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that we just have that bad rap in real estate that we're like dirty car salesmen. And I don't knock because I've purchased many cars and they do a really great job, but it's different
It is.
now than it used to be.
Yeah.
You walked into the lot and immediately you had like three people like on you, like trying to, you know, um, and now it's more about relationship builder. The guy that I bought my last car with, I told him he was young and I said, "You are doing a really good job establishing, like finding out, who are you and what do you need a car for and what makes you happy and what do you envision by yourself?" But those are the kind of questions that I like to ask my
Yeah.
clients. Who are you really as
Yeah.
humans? Because that will really guide me into supporting your needs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's golden right there. You can take them to you know, Las Vegas has so many different types of community, so many various types of communities and lifestyles inside of Las Vegas that if you're not asking those questions, who really are you? You can very easily take them to the wrong community, and they buy the house because they love the house and like, this is not the community, this is not what my people. And so those are key questions.
Especially in our community because we do have so many people moving from out of state. So a lot of times you're talking to people that have not been here. They may have been on the strip, but they've never been, to the neighborhoods. And so you have to really find out who they are and what is it that they envision for themselves. So
Yeah.
that's all fun. That's all fun for me. That's the best part of the job.
I love it. Well, hey, looking back, what was a turning point that you would say had happened in your career that changed how you operate your business today? Was there one pivotal or hard learning moment that you said, "I'm doing it this way, and now I'm going to do it this way instead"?
Hmm. Well, I think there's been several. I'm thinking of several things that I participated in over the years, through the brokerage. For example, like being confident. I think it started with just having clarity about who we are and what we bring to the table, at the beginning, you're so confused about which way to go and how to get clients and really how to start a business. I mean, I was an employee at a major aerospace company with a background in like dealing with people problems, not business and not creating a business. So there's a lot of confusion at the beginning. I think that one of the things that I think has really made a change for me is creating a very strong morning routine. And so I really work on having clarity, being, doing all of the things, doing positive affirmations, doing my gratitudes. I journal every day. I've been journaling for years. I may skip a day or two, but I always go back to it, and just having clarity about being grateful and where do I want to go today. And I always sort of say, manifest, put me in front of people that I can serve. And it could be in real estate, and it could be for a transaction, or it could be for something else, that I can serve in. And so really having a strong morning routine, I think, was one of the one of the big changes in focusing on who I was as a human being, what I needed. And then secondly, I think, is just focusing in on what I really enjoyed, which was forming relationships with my people. And obviously there were, that was a building block, meeting new people and how do you form a relationship. Um, and realizing that that is my gift and it's my joy. And
Mm.
I think that my business really changed when I focus in on just having a grounded and consistent, like, self-care program in my morning routine, and then really focusing in on what I'm really good at and creating relationship. So I kind of go from stranger to friend, or stranger to relationship, I think, pretty quick, because I like
Yeah,
to go deep.
yeah, I love that. No, I think that's amazing. Um, is there what are two non-negotiables in your business that you said, "Hey, look, I have to do these two things for me to be successful in life, to me to be successful personally." Um, what would they be?
Well, I would have to go back to what I just said. I think first is self-care. Um, and I know that it's a we take it for granted that we need to take care of ourselves, but this is not an it's a simple business, but it's not easy. It works on our mindset, it works on our confidence, even though we don't want a roller coaster ride, it often is a roller coaster ride in our business, financially, personally. And so really taking care of ourselves and making whatever it is that's best for you, whether it's working out, or, like I do a morning routine, or, working together with a group on becoming better, right from the moment that you wake up in the morning, basically. Um, and then I would say, just like the three C's: clarity, consistency, and commitment.
Hmm.
Um, I think those really are the things that I would probably say those are non negotiables. You got to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And you have to have clarity of what it is that you find joy in, what you're good at, be consistent and be committed, and have the belief, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah, for
that
sure.
you that you're bringing something good to the table, and that will just continue to grow yourself as a professional and for the people that you're surrounded by. That means
Yeah.
agents too. It's not just clients.
Hmm.
It's helping each other as agents, as our industry, and I have several different communities. pretty involved in the autism community, and just being a part and being present and intentional with those people that you get to serve.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you mentioned this quite a bit as clarity, and I talk a lot about clarity too. It's everything. If you're not clear, how do you know where to go? You're just guessing where
Exactly.
you're going.
Hmm.
And you start by owning your morning. If you own your morning, you own your day. And you figure that out obviously along the journey. If you own your morning and you protect that time, you're already putting yourself in the right mindset to move forward throughout your day. And it's going to be harder to get derailed during that day as well, because you're very, very intentional on what you need to accomplish for that day. And
Exactly.
one other piece you put in there, and I'm gonna phrase it a little bit different way, is it's just the self care you're talking about. If this is broken, nothing else works. That's game ends. It's over. So the fact that you're focused on that is critical. If you have a healthy mind, healthy body, you work on yourself. That self care that you're talking about, you can serve others in such a better way. And the fact that you're so hyper focused on that is it shows how much you are looking into that strong communication, to being able to communicate effectively, which is by the response that you receive, which means you're going to sell more homes at the same time. And it's really helped you build a great career on that. But uh, love the
Thank
tips
you.
that you gave today. Thank you for just speaking from the heart, being who you are, and sharing your greatness with others, because there's so much. And I hope those you've watched this to the end, if you did, you picked up a lot of great stuff. But Maria, how can
Thank
people
you.
get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you? You can give your number, your email, whatever you want. This goes out obviously to our company, and it'll be on the YouTube channel if anyone else ever wants to pick it up as well. How do they find Maria Martin?
Absolutely. Well, you can reach me on my cell at 702-682-9360, or you could reach me on my email, maria.martin719@gmail.com. I don't use the Berkshire because I've had that for way too many
Sure.
years.
Oh, sure.
Um,
No,
and text, calls, all of it is welcome.
excellent,
And also I'm
excellent.
on Instagram. I'm
Okay,
definitely on Instagram as well, maria.martin.realtor.
perfect, perfect. Well, thank you for spending time out of your day. I know how busy you are, and it is such a pleasure to get to know you even better. And I'm thrilled that our company can get to know you even better outside of our four walls, too. So thank you so much, Maria. Appreciate
Thank
all you
you. Thank
do
you, Troy.
for being such an amazing ambassador to this industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
You bet. Bye
Bye.
bye.